gråter så stora tårar nu för tiden. De låg där och väntade som dömningar ute på havet. Jag sett dem komma ute på havet. Jag sett dem också. Ingen dömningar. Ingen dömningar. Du
Brun and Martin, have you ever played in aprons?
No.
Ah, so it's a first.
It's a dream coming true.
Now I have to make an announcement. This clipfish will not cook itself,
No,
so
that's
you
true.
have to be here.
Yeah.
I've done, I've chopped some
That's
onions,
great.
but that's it.
Yeah.
Now it's over to you.
Yeah.
That beautiful song in your Norwegian dialect. I was nearly in tears, and it wasn't the onions. Tell us, what was that about?
It's a song about comfort. I think it's a song about a friend who's crying big tears and telling the story. It's like a metaphor about being in a boat. And we'll
Yes.
be in the boat together, and we'll go all the way.
A journey
So,
together with a friend.
Yes.
And talking about comfort, tell us about this dish, because this dish is also about a comfort zone, isn't it?
Yeah, for me, I think that Norwegian food, of course, bacalhau is a Portuguese dish, but in Norway it's been adopted, and especially the area I come from.
Yes.
Just about an hour from where I come from, the klippfisk is really like famous from that place. And it's my mother's. This is one of my favorite dishes from Norway. So, and
is it a celebration dish? Do you have this on a Sunday, or is it just an everyday?
Both.
Both.
Yeah,
yes.
it can be like a nice dinner thing.
Yeah.
And it can also be just a normal everyday dinner.
Everyday dish.
Yeah.
Yes. Martin, where are you from?
I'm from western of Sweden, pretty close to Oslo.
Oh, right. Yes. But we're talking your homeland
is Norway.
Yeah.
And you grew up.
Yeah, I grew up
in
in Sweden, but went a lot to Norway to go skiing and also buy sheep butter, actually, and cheese.
As you do.
I lived in Sweden for 13 years.
Yes.
So all of my musicians are Swedish, and Martin is my most food-interested friend. So I brought him along.
Obsessed.
How different is the food, Swedish food, compared with Norway?
I think our opinion in Sweden is that we have more spices and more taste in our food than Norway.
Maybe not this dish, though.
No,
this is a good dish. And what do you put that down to? So the Norwegian taste bud is more plain?
No, but it's a lot of fish, and usually you shouldn't spice fish that much. But this is a nice way, because this as she said, is a tradition from Portuguese that was adopted.
Yes, that's right.
Therefore, the pimento and
the
garlic.
pimento, that's right, and the oil, the olive oil, and so forth. So let's begin. Let's start it going, because then we can talk, and maybe you might play for us a little bit more.
Well, yeah,
maybe. We'll see how the morning takes us. Let's get this started, because today is all about this food, all about the cooking. And Martin, I think she tours with you because you're the great chef.
That's why I tour.
That's the only reason.
Talent is.
That's why he's here today.
So let's begin with this. You've all got the recipes. They are just before the
Right.
middle of your booklet.
Okay,
It
so
is
we have
called bacalhau clipfish, and it's a tradition in
Yeah, where I
Norway.
come
Easy to
from.
turn it on.
Okay, and Simone is getting talk about the bacalhau or clipfish.
Well, the clipfish is dried cod, and it's traditionally dried on. I think today they don't do it that way, but traditionally dried on the what do you call it? The cliffs,
Yes,
stone cliffs. So
Yes.
it's dried until it's really hard, like wood.
yes.
And in Norway, it's a snack.
Oh.
I worked at a bar in Oslo where
Yes.
they sold the snack, and it smells really, really bad.
Is
And
it salted? Is
Yeah,
it salted?
very salted,
heavily
yeah.
salted.
And it's
Because-
just if you open one of those bags,
No.
it spreads all
I
around.
know. Yes.
But to do this dish, you have to put that dry fish in water. So I think we have cheated today because it's not possible to do it in 1 hour.
No, but we have been soaking this. Simone is our resident chef, and she has changed the water.
Twice a day for 2 days.
2 days.
Right, yes, she hardly
Applaud! Applaud!
Thank you, Simone. So we can get this fish here. Has anyone ever cooked with salted cod? Ah, yes. So you just need to change the water. Now, once upon a time here in South Australia at least, we used to have to soak it a lot longer. Now it's less salted because we have refrigeration.
Oh, right,
And
true.
so that was a way of preserving
That's
it,
true.
obviously. Now, so is this very common in Norway?
In my part of Norway, it is common, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very fishy area.
area, yes, yeah.
Fishy area, that's good.
We understood.
I actually had a really good one in Lisbon.
Yes.
In Portuguese,
Portuguese,
it's-
yeah, Portuguese, yeah.
This is very related to it. So.
It's very interesting because Carmenio came to cook with us last night. She made
I saw that,
bacalhau.
that's great.
Yes. So we are going to be from having no bacalhau ever
Yeah.
to having 3 sessions with this salt pot. 3.
Oh, one
yes,
more?
one more from reunion.
Wow.
Yes,
So
so
you're
that
good-
will be
good
quite
with the
yes,
changing
so
water
we're good now.
process. Uh-huh.
Yes, she has
expert now.
Simone hardly sleeps at all. She just changes water. Now tell us.
No joke.
When, as you were growing up at university, you were saying before you worked in bars. So the kitchen is not
the
a
thing
strange
is, I
place
love
for you.
cooking. I love
Yes.
cooking, but I'm very improvising when it comes to cooking. So I kind of I think my food is actually very good.
Yes,
it's just
I'm
very
sure.
improvised.
It is.
It
I
is.
tried it.
You can, yes.
It's always very improvised though, from what I
course,
have. So
yes.
if someone tells me to make a specific soup or something, I go,
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
So-
Is there much improvisation in your music? Is that
Well,
where
in the-
this relaxed
in the,
attitude
in
comes
the
from?
creation of the music,
Yes.
it's very built on improvisation. Yeah.
Yes.
But on stage, I mostly don't improvise too much. Just a little bit in nuances and stuff. But when I write the music, it's improvised. So.
Yes, yes, yes. Now, you were saying that this dish was taught to you by your mother. Was she a good cook?
Yeah, she's a very good cook. And
Yes.
I think many probably have the same experience that when you grow up, you kind of notice what kind of level your mother is in cooking. And I realized when I grew up, she's a very good cook. I never had a bad meal at home.
No,
so-
no. And is she a musician?
She is.
Oh,
She's
so
a singer and
a singer?
pianist.
Yes.
She's, I grew up with music in our house all the time. So
Music and food.
yeah.
A fabulous combination.
Yeah.
Martin, what about you? Your parents, were they good cooks and good?
Yeah, but my mum was pretty good.
Yeah.
But mostly vegetarian.
All right.
So I got really into like offals and meaty
Yes.
stuff just to make a
her
punky
yeah,
revolt.
that was
kind of.
your rebellion.
Yeah,
yes.
my rebellion.
Other people go off to kibbutz, but you took up eating meat. Yes.
Yeah.
Now, what about musicality in your family? You had lots of music?
I had a granddad was actually his violin.
This is his?
Yeah. So and I lost 3 of his violins, 2 of them.
Oh, no.
But this is the only one left.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. So
This
he
is
was a
very
big
sacred.
inspiration. Yeah.
This is very, very sacred.
But I actually play piano for a first instrument.
He's an
Yes.
amazing pianist.
So I started doing that pretty early. So
Now, just tell us, walk us through what you're doing. So you're chopping up our lovely vine-ripened tomatoes.
yeah,
Now, tomatoes are. How do they grow beautifully ripe like this in Sweden? I'm just.
That's what we in Scandinavia, get fresh fruit and fresh vegetables. It's not as good as here, of course.
We get them from Holland.
From
Holland.
Yes.
And they're not this red and not this sweet. So, but in the summer we had really nice, slow ripened.
Yes. Let's talk then about going to university, Anne. You went. You studied Spanish, law, and music. Tell me the interest in Spanish language and music, presumably.
Well, that started when I was in the teens. I started studying Spanish in high school, and I just fell in love with it. So it's one of my big interests. So I went to Spain after college, or I don't know what we'd call it, but when I was 19, I went to Spain and I lived there and learned the language, and I went back to Oslo and started studying Spanish literature and history. And I'm kind of like a language freak. I love languages and words. So, and then after that, I started studying law for a year.
Yes. And what happened there?
Well, I actually find it very interesting.
Yes.
And I loved it, but I realized, because my dad is a lawyer, I realized really quickly that if I did this now, it would be my life.
Yes.
And first of all, the 6 years of studying, which is really hard, and then it would be it would just consume my life.
Yes, that's
and
right.
it was a choice. So
you wouldn't be here if you.
No, and I was at that same year I started studying law. That was when my music started to come to life. So it was kind of like a choice between the creative and
and the academic.
So after that, I started studying more music theory and stuff like that. So that's how I think I needed to go to the other end of my brain to see that what I wanted, because I have both sides.
Yes, you do. Yes, that's right.
So I have both sides. That's amazing.
And they both work. They both work. And you, Martin, what were your study?
I actually studied. First, tried to be a classical violin player.
Yes.
But too lazy and too much into. This was the grunge era.
Yes.
So I discovered the rock and roll thing, and then I studied composition and arranging music.
Yes.
But then I was part of forming a rock band, Soundtrack of Our Lives, and then we played for 18 years.
Oh, 18 years as a rock musician?
Yes, and then more and more with On and more soft stuff. So now I've done my rock thing, and
you've done you've got that out of your system.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm glad to hear that.
Definitely.
Well, you do tour a lot. I'm amazed at how much touring you do. And so, how do you sustain yourself in terms of food? Can you cook while you're on tour, or do you have to eat out in restaurants?
Well, you have to eat in restaurants, but when you have for instance, we don't have this now, but when you're on a bus, when you have your sleeping bus, you can fill the fridge with good stuff. So
yes.
In the last year or 2 or 3 years, I've been trying to plan it more. So I bring stuff, and I don't eat gluten anymore. So then you have to plan.
Yes, you do.
Difficult. So then I bring a lot of healthy stuff to add to the food. So that works out.
That's now, because I know that you're performing, and we should say that too. Centre Stage at 6 o'clock tonight. So how do you prepare? You'll leave us, sadly, you'll leave us, and then you'll have a couple of hours. How will you fill that time?
I think that I just came from a US tour with just a cellist.
Yes.
So we've done a totally different tour. And now I'm going to be on stage with 2 drummers, 2 keyboardists, and the cellist as well. So it's going to I just have to change my mind a little bit and go through the set and put on makeup and that kind of stuff.
Perfume, the whole thing.
I don't know, I've done this for so many years now.
Does he need us? Ignore him. It's okay.
So
there's another. Do you want that off completely, Martin? There we go.
We've done it for so many years now, so it's kind of like routine,
Yeah. But in terms of being performance ready, do you work out? Are you fit? Do you run, walk?
Well, the thing is
that personal?
No. The thing is, I used to try to do that on tour, but I realized actually that the actual gig takes so much energy that if I try to work out on tour, it just drains me more than it gives. So I try to do that when I'm home.
Yeah.
And other than that, try to live healthy on tour. So
yes.
It's
And then you were saying to poor Martin is working. You keep working. Don't worry about us. We'll be right. The layering, that's
yes.
important. Let's
I
do
must
that.
actually add one thing that
Yes.
touring with Arne is the best food experience I had in my
is that
musicians
true?
life. Yeah,
well,
because
rock bands aren't known for healthy eating. Let's face it.
we had some good food, but Arne has actually traveled with the juice processor in the case. So you always had good juice in the morning.
Oh, fantastic! So your luggage must weigh a lot. Your
this is
juicer.
only if we have
Yeah.
a bus, though.
Yeah, of course,
We can
yeah.
bring it on the plane.
And talking about touring, because you've done a lot of different things. You're a solo performer, and then you've played obviously with a string quartet and a full orchestration. How does that change what you do and your mindset about that?
Well, I'm always the same, when I do it, but I have to kind of adapt to when I do the solo thing. It takes more out of me.
It's
I
so
need to
hard
bring
to
out
do
more.
Yeah.
And with the band, I can kind of just blend in more. So it's different. It's different in focus and different in dynamics, I guess.
And energy too, because they would give energy to you as well.
Yeah.
Basically.
Martin, I think, is doing something very important. Let's do this.
Doing
What
the
are you doing,
layers.
Martin?
With very good help here.
Oh,
I'm
yes.
doing a layering kind of like a moussaka or lasagna thing
Yes.
with the
Highly
potatoes,
technical.
tomatoes, the onion thing with
Yeah,
the onion and garlic, and then we have olives and
Yes.
the grilled pimientos, the grilled peppers,
Yes.
and the fish.
So this, you can see this has its roots in the Mediterranean in Portugal, can't you?
Yeah, I think so.
And yet it's become Norway's national
But
dish,
actually,
really.
the dried salted fish
Yes.
is actually an export product from Norway.
Yes,
Even
it's-
Portuguese buy it from Norway. So
Oh, yeah.
and it's of course from the start a result of
How did
you
you
know
do that one?
Yeah.
saving food. So
Of course, that's right.
yeah.
Yes,
So
preserving the
preserving
abundance.
it, so-
Because most of it comes from the North Sea, I think, doesn't it? So
yeah, because we're
Yeah.
living in the cold winter, so in
Yeah,
the
that
winter
would-
you had to preserve the
that
food
sounds-
somewhere,
Yes.
and they made all that salty cod. So
Of course,
Yes.
that's right. Now, talking about the weather and climate,
Yeah.
because I know that you're very politically active in promoting us
I can-
more to think about climate change and so forth. You had that extraordinary, what was it?
normal lullabies.
Yes, no more lullabies.
Yeah.
I was struggling with that.
That's
And
okay.
tell us about that. Talk
Well,
us through.
we did a campaign, or what do you call it? We did some concerts back in Sweden about 3-4 years ago called Normal Lullabies, where we kind of tried to make a a performance where you blend in. I think because I think that to actually try to take in the reality of global warming and the climate change and also climate justice is it's quite heavy. And
Yes.
it's really hard for us humans to take it in because it's so huge and it actually affects all of us and it affects our children and the next generation. And I think that we as humans have really difficult to open up to it. And I think that art is one of the few ways where you actually can open up and get it in your
Yeah.
system.
What about
So that was kind of
salt
the
and
idea
pepper?
to use
Do you-
music
do
and
you-
art and film to kind of
Or
make
is it
people
still so
able
salty?
to open up.
Yeah.
No,
And
it's a salt, yeah.
I'm still very active, but I have for a year or two I've been taking it a bit easier because it does take a lot of energy.
It does, yes.
So I need to take a break and then go back into it. So how's this going?
How's it
I
going?
think it's going fine with have this good help here, and
So
she'll just do layering,
layer upon layer.
and then there's the comfort aspect of it. That then you can just leave it and just
That's true.
Yes, and just shake it
Shake
every
it
now and
some-
then.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
just like having a little baby, and you give it a
Yeah,
shake.
yeah.
But you've, I mean, it's quite haphazard. It's not regimented layering. It's just pop it all in.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Pop
yeah.
it all in. This is a new culinary term.
You should blend it when you eat it anyway. So.
Yes, that's right. But it is important just to shake it and not to stir it while it's cooking.
Yes,
Otherwise,
that's
you'll
true.
break up all of Martin's
Yeah,
beautiful
only you said that
layers.
because you don't want to break the potatoes
Yeah.
too much. No?
Did I say that?
Yes, you
Yeah.
did in your recipe. In your recipe, you'll have
Yes.
that.
It's
Don't
famous
shake.
cookbook.
Yes, that's right. That's right. So you're breaking up the olives.
Yeah,
Just You don't have to be too fussy
cook
about
chef.
that.
No,
Yeah.
again, a good tip from
Simone has
my new friend here.
Yeah, your new best friend.
I would have chopped them. This is probably better with the taste too.
Yeah.
As with mushrooms. And
Yes, it's also a little bit more rustic as well, I think. Yes. So, what other fabulous national dishes are there in Norway that we might try?
Well, we call it. I was one thing I actually did think about was something called fish balls.
Oh, yes.
But it's not gluten free, so I didn't want to make something that I can't eat. So
Yeah, of course.
and there are lots of stuff with fish cakes,
Yes.
fish balls, fish everything.
Fish everything.
Yeah,
exactly.
and then
Desserts?
of course desserts. Yeah,
Is this famous
cakes.
porridge I got once, rømmegrøt?
Oh yeah, rømmegrøt. Rømmegrøt is very, very typical farmer's food. It's
Yeah.
just
You had that on top.
really heavy
Some wine?
fat. So if and people eat it today, even though you shouldn't, because you should work 12 hours in the fields
Of
before you eat.
course.
But
Well,
it-
12 hours on stage, that's almost
Because
equivalent, I
rømme is
think.
like a really fat creme fraiche.
Oh,
Sounds good.
It's like 40% or
Yes,
something,
yeah.
and then you cook a porridge out of it.
oh, right.
And then you have sugar and cinnamon on it. It's really good.
But you need that in cold climates as well, because
Yeah,
you're
I guess
using
you
up a
need
lot.
fat.
Yes, well, you need.
And I done it after hiking in Jotunheimen.
it's good, right?
Yeah, we done some hiking.
Yes.
And then I got this dry cured meat with flatbread
right.
to it.
Dry cured
very
meat
thin
is
bread.
really normal.
Yeah,
Too.
yeah.
I don't eat meat either. So.
No, you don't eat meat. You don't eat gluten. Okay.
But fish, I do.
But fish, yes. Now, you've been talking a lot about, things that you do are sometimes very draining. How do you find to restore yourself, your energies? What do you do?
Well, I've learned the hard way because I have an
should
autoimmune
be
disease.
one more potato.
So I've
Yeah.
been I've been
yeah.
really sick a couple of times
Oh.
through the years, but now I'm really healthy.
Yes.
And it's all about trying to do it sustainable. Actually, try to get enough sleep. If you don't get enough sleep one night, it's fine, but try not to do it over many nights and eat well and eat good breakfast. And, just kind of be normal, healthy, I guess.
Yeah, and having good friends that can cook for
Having
you.
good friends on tour, not only for the cooking, it's so important to be happy on tour.
Yes.
Bring people that give you good energy, and
Where are you happiest? Where are you most content?
Well, the thing is, these days I'm quite content everywhere.
Everywhere, yes.
I'm very happy these days. But my father comes from an island very far out in the Atlantic Ocean.
Yes.
And this is where we go with my family, even though it's storm or whatever, never. So I just this year building a cottage there.
WOMADelaide.
Oh.
So it's going to be like my cottage with 4-meter windows to the ocean.
To the ocean.
Yeah. So it's just happening now. So
How fantastic. And it's very remote, this island.
it's right remote. It's people live there and there are shops to buy food and everything. But it's if you're there, you're there. So
Yes, you
there's
can't-
not much to for me who's been there for all my life. It's not much to explore.
Yeah.
Which is kind of the idea.
Yeah.
Because I tour so much, I want to go
Yeah,
somewhere where there's nothing
re-
new. So
Yes.
it's weird. It's just
No, we
you don't understand.
understand.
It's just hard to get. Sometimes you
Yes.
get overdose from all the new impressions.
Yes. The wow
So-
factor just burns you out.
Yeah,
Yes.
sometimes.
So that's fantastic. You're going to have these big windows just looking out onto the sea. Will you do writing there, or is that really?
Definitely.
So that's going to be your retreat.
Retreat and also to write music.
Yes.
Because writing music is also a healing process. so-
Yes, it is. Yes, that's right. But talking about all this healing process, how are we going here, please, with the food,
It's the last
Martin?
last
The
layer actually,
Okay.
and then it's gonna magically be ready on this side. It's,
Now I'm going
Some
to
sort
get the magic of
It's
television.
Swedish.
And do you know, Martin, you'll be able to say something I've always wanted to say. Here's one I prepared earlier.
Yeah.
So we'll practice that later. We'll have, and then we'll
You get to say
audition you to see whether you can. Now, you've had some fantastic successes, haven't you? 2 Norwegian Grammys. That's amazing.
3.
3, I beg your pardon. When did you have that last one?
It was a single we did with the Madrugada.
Ah, how fantastic. So 3,
Yeah.
that's an extraordinary achievement, isn't
Yeah.
it? And tell me, in Norway, I mean, are you recognized everywhere you go?
Pretty much, not everywhere, but Yeah.
Not on your island far in the
Well,
Atlantic.
they do know who I am because I'm Knut's daughter, you know.
Yeah.
So, but it's I guess now after 10 years
good
of
to
being
finish it
in
up with
music,
potatoes, you think, or-
people
Yeah.
start to know me.
Yeah.
But I've never been like a celebrity who go and do celebrity shows and
No.
stuff. So people, most of the time, if they listen to me, they know who I am.
Yes, exactly. But now you've got your own cookery program.
I'm
That's
just
the
famous in Australia.
Well, you are famous
today.
yeah.
And Martin too.
And Martin, yes. But while we're talking about touring, while we get this happening, you've also done a lot of wonderful work with Peter Gabriel that we all know quite well through WOMAD.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
But that was one of those things that you never think will happen. I was playing in Norway like many years ago, 2005, in a huge concert for Nelson Mandela's foundation, and he was there, and a lot of other artists were there. And I played, and he came over to me after and said he liked it. And then the years went by, and all of a sudden I got an email from him saying, or not from him, but his main man, saying if I wanted to go on tour and sing a duet and do backing vocals and be support band. So I did around 50 concerts with him and the New Blood Orchestra.
Yes.
And it was amazing, singing
can
with his
imagine.
daughter Melanie
Yeah.
Gabriel,
Is
and
this or is it
and
the
now
same
actually
thing?
2 of my musicians are on tour with him.
Oh, really?
They're here today. So
Yes.
Linnea and Jenny are on the new tour, the Back to Front tour. So we're kind of the Swedes and the Norwegians are infiltrating.
That's right. You'll take over soon. Now, that's going to go on in a minute. What can we...
Looks
Martin,
really good.
Are you happy with how that looks?
Yeah, I think it's. I'm
He's
really
hungry
excited.
now.
Really excited.
I'm getting hungry.
Exciting. Because,
is
well, I
my-
don't know why we're asking you, because we should be asking our resident Norwegian chef. How does it look? Are you happy with that?
I think it looks great.
Yeah?
It's going to be so good.
So the last layer is potato.
Yep.
Yeah, potato and then the sauce, the
And
tomato
the sauce
yeah.
on top.
It's a
Now let's
special.
just talk about the sauce, because this is just one that Simone made. Just one, a fabulous sauce that Simone made, and it's just a Napolitana sauce. How did we get that in? No, that's a little bit Portuguese, isn't
Okay.
it? So a prepared sauce. Otherwise, what would you use? Maybe even a can?
It was just a tomato puree in the recipe, but this
Right.
is much more
Yes.
funky. No, this
funky,
is,
yeah.
as Jamie Oliver would
Yes,
have said.
yeah. Yes, that's right.
And then we can also have white wine in it.
Yeah,
Yes,
we have white wine.
We have white wine and
I missed
yes.
that talking.
Yeah. And now talking
Maybe we
about
should
wine,
have some more water, you think?
some more water. And now talking about wine, once this is made, how will you serve that? With what wine or a beer? How would Norwegian
White
people-
wine or beer, I guess.
Yep.
Beer is big in Norway.
Yeah.
We don't
Good
have any.
Pilsner
We don't
in
have any
Norway.
wine, so
No.
we
But a
have to
pilsner.
import wine. Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
And aquavit, maybe.
Oh, and an aquavit. That would be nice. Regrettably, we have neither, but we can arrange something. How else will you serve it? Would that be the major part of your meal with a salad or vegetables?
I don't think you would have salad to
No.
it. Not in Norway.
Nah.
White bread, I guess.
White bread, I
But
guess.
bread,
Not for me.
not for you, no. But with extra vegetables or not?
I guess the traditional way is
It's
no,
just
nothing
that,
else.
that's it.
Yeah.
That's
Just,
it?
Maybe some parsley on top or something.
So a bit of
Yes.
green on top. We've got to get some green into you here, Anna.
Yeah.
So we would put some parsley on
Yeah.
top and then serve it with the pilsner and Bob's
or
Run.
wine if you want,
Or
of
a
course.
wine if you
Or
want.
water.
Yeah.
Whatever you want.
So or a wine. So let's get that started, and then we'll see how it progresses. Martin,
And then we do
do
the
the-
abracadabra.
yeah, and then we can do that.
Exciting.
So how long is it going to cook? I don't know.
Well, let's just check the recipe. I was just about to do that. While you're doing that, you can see Anna and
1.5 hours.
Martin and the rest of their troupe Saturday tonight, 6 o'clock at the Internode Centre stage. And then again tomorrow. You're going to be exhausted. No? Okay.
Psyched up.
6:20 on stage 3. Is it basically the same concert, or do you change?
Tomorrow is longer,
Tomorrow?
so you get a few more songs. Tomorrow.
Oh, fantastic. So that will be straight after the parade, I think.
yeah.
Yes, we'll come and see you at 6:20
What's
on
the parade?
stage 3.
What do they do at the parade?
more mayhem, more riots. You know, it's WOMAD.
Good.
The children get involved, and it's great fun.
Yeah, good.
It's great, isn't it? Who goes to the parade? Yes, it's all great fun. You should go and have.
Nice.
No, you'll be preparing.
can't.
You can't. You're working. Okay. Now I don't know if you would like to do another little musical interlude.
Well, we
Or-
haven't planned anymore.
No, well
but-
then don't.
Gör Olav.
Det är fel gitarr.
Fel gitarr.
Sorry.
No. Let's just see. There's a wind just blowing that around a little bit. Let's come over here to the one we prepared earlier. Martin, go on, say that word. Say that line. Here's one. Yep.
Here's one I prepared earlier.
In Swedish you would say, jag har fuskat lite.
Jag har fuskat lite. The Swedish chef would have said.
Yes.
Här är en
cheated.
som jag gjort innan som jag fuskar lite.
And in Norwegian?
Jag har, vad säger man?
You've been on tour too long.
I sometimes get a language vacuum in my head. Because I live in Sweden and sometimes the Norwegian and Swedes are so similar.
Yes.
So sometimes it's almost like it becomes a hole in between.
Yeah. Okay.
Juxa.
Ja.
Let's have a look.
Ooh, you look so good.
My goodness, Martin.
amazing.
Yeah, I'm so proud.
Aren't you? Now, can we? I want, however, you to taste it to make sure that is all tasting exactly as we want.
Yep.
Because you're representing Norwegian culinary history here.
Hope we made our mother proud.
I hope you did. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Drum roll, please.
We want some fish, right? I'm gonna get
Yes,
some
you
fish
have to
out.
taste it. Yes, that's the.
I
This
get
is
this
the. Yes, of course. That's. I want you to
Find
taste.
some fish. There's some fish.
Oh.
Are there any Scandinavians here?
We
One.
can start setting.
Norwegian, Swedish. Swedish. Okay, good. Represented.
The cod is perfectly flaky and
Ah.
it's totally perfect.
Now, would you serve it like that or let it reduce a little bit more? What do you think?
I don't know how long has this been on for? An hour. Maybe it could be.
It could be a little
But
bit.
this is nice.
Is this nice?
Stewy kind of.
Yes, that's right.
It's very warm. But it's so good.
Is that
Very good.
It's
It's
very
very
good.
garlicky
Tastes
and
exactly
very
like-
good.
Garlicky, very good. Okay.
I think it's better than in Norway.
We do magical things
No,
here
that's
at
what-
Women.
That's what I'm saying. This is like the best dish in Norway.
This.
I'm gonna make it to you in Stockholm.
Okay.
No, okay. You can have another taste.
So
we'll
good.
let you. Is that okay?
really
And
nice.
okay to serve?
Maybe the fish should have
A little bit
you
longer.
think?
Yeah.
Or do you think
Okay.
No, I think it's done.
It's fine, yeah?
It's done. I think.
It's done.
And,
It's yum. Okay.
Very good.
All right. Now, well then we've. Let's just recap what's going to happen to you after WOMAD at WOMADelaide. You're going to New Zealand.
Yes.
Yes. Have you been to New Zealand before?
This is the first time in Australia. And
Oh wow.
very,
I've been-
very
You've
excited
been,
to
yes.
be here.
never to New Zealand though. I think it's the first time for everyone New Zealand. So
That's
we're all.
yes.
I want to see animals here, though.
Yes. Are you going?
Before I go.
Of course. Yes. So someone will take you to.
Hope
See,
so.
what sort of animals?
The ones that I will
Intrigue you?
never see anywhere else.
Okay, we got a few of those. We've
Yeah.
got a few that you don't want to see
Okay.
too, but we'll. And then the future.
The future holds
What's-
a year of music, of course, festivals, and in the fall I'm going on a more acoustic tour in Europe and perhaps in America again. I'm not sure, but at least Europe.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to write my new album
Oh.
in my cottage.
In your
by the
cottage.
Atlantic.
How fantastic!
It's my plan.
That's your plan. Tell me, I mean, I'm so fascinated with your cottage in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. It's going to be wild weather, isn't it?
I like
that. Yes. Will that affect your mood and your writing? I'm always fascinated to see how the weather will affect a person's psyche. You know, I'd love to hear what you would write if you lived in Barcelona
Yeah.
compared with this island.
I do think that we are affected by where we come from, of course, where we grow up and the weather and everything. I'm not sure my music would sound the same if I grew up in a warm climate. You know, it's just that when it's dark and cold, we don't go outside, so we stay inside and you write music, and it's a different way of living.
Yes.
So it's from November to March. You don't ever do anything outside. You just walk really quickly to the next place.
To the next warm spot.
So
Yes.
everything is inside,
Yes.
and I think that affects us a lot.
And so that's also why your music is sometimes introspective.
Yeah, I think
and
so.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not made for parties.
But
outside.
Well,
but it's very, I think, comforting.
it is
As a
very
listener,
comforting. It is
it's,
very comforting,
good.
and
That's
and
good
very
in the cold.
moving. Yes.
I guess I'm trying to comfort myself sometimes.
Yes. So what are your broad themes when you're writing? You don't set out to write a song about friendship. It just
Well, I
comes to
never
you.
really did that, but the last year when I've done a few songs that have been ordered to do,
Yes.
like requested.
Ordered, commissioned.
Ordered, please
We
make
say
a-
commissioned.
Yes, commissioned. They say, I want a song that is about this specific script of a
yes.
film or something.
Yeah.
And so I'm planning to try to do that more because it makes you give a frame.
Yeah.
But mostly it's about existential stuff, more like
Yeah.
relationships
Yeah.
to me, to myself, or to someone else, or
Yeah.
something I see. Just kind of things in life that puzzles me. You know.
Yes, I always find that it's a search also for identity. I
Yeah.
find that very moving and very well. It's comforting in a way that you can explore your own problems or psyche
Yeah.
through music, and I find that very comforting in yours.
I'm
And so, Martin, what about you?
Yeah,
After you've conquered the cookery stage,
actually,
what's happening?
Dream of doing this. I had my first feature in a Swedish food magazine this week, so I'm dreaming. But actually, I don't think it will happen. So I will continue playing, and I'm happy with that.
You
So-
don't think there'll be a career change that you can put down to
No, but
WOMADelaide?
I'm in a band called Tonbruket. It's a kind of jazzy, psychedelic, dreamy, and we're back.
We have been touring
Sometimes-
together a lot, that band and me.
back
Yeah,
on
yeah.
and up. So we're actually doing some touring and do.
Are you touring a lot? Anywhere near, or are you going in separate directions?
We're doing that tour with Tonbruket in the
Yes,
summer together. Yeah.
together. Mm-hmm.
We hang out a lot
We
together.
toured together since 2008, 6,
Yeah,
7,
yeah,
8.
you and me,
Yeah.
and Tonbruket and
Yeah.
us since this fall.
Yeah.
So I hope Tonbruket will come here. It's I think you'd like it.
I think we would love it. I'm sure we would. Now, your adoring public is waiting to taste your food.
Yeah.
But we can also taste the music. Tonight at 6, Internode Centre Stage, and Sunday 6:20, Stage 3. Now, what we're doing is we're going to parcel that out to the people, but we'll make sure you get a nice little
Oh, that'd be
bit,
nice.
because that'll be your lunch.
Yeah.
Now, it's been, for me, a great treat to meet you and to cook with you, Martin. It's been
been amazing,
wonderful.
thank you.
And I know that our audience has really been very grateful for you to be so honest and so warm and giving of yourself, all your talents. So thank you very, very much.
Take a picture of them. I'm going to take a picture of you all.
Why don't you go and stand in the middle and I'll take
No,
a
I want to
picture.
take a picture of the audience.
That's
Wave.
so beautiful. Yes.
Wave.
Hungry
Nice.
audience.
Thanks.